How can I find and retain rockstar employees in a business with small margins? I love this question because I live this question. I have picked the stupidest, hardest business industries in my life, and I regret many of them. But it's made me hardened, and it's made me have to get creative, and it's made me qualified to give advice to questions like these. So I had a company called Send Eats, and we were an e-commerce fulfillment brand. And that is a brutal business. It was called PPS, pick, pack, and ship. That's what the industry term is. People would send us a pallet full of goods, and then we would connect our API to their Shopify store. And then as orders would come in, we would pick, pack, and ship them out for them. You make money by marking up shipping. You make money every time you pick an item and pack it and ship it out. You make money on storage, yada, yada. But it is just such a brutal business. And we're competing with Amazon, right? One of the biggest companies in the world. And there are some industries like 3PL, third-party logistics, where the messy middle is very big. The messy middle exists everywhere. And that is, it's the size of a business where you're too small to be good enough for X, but you're too big to be good enough for Y. And so in e-commerce fulfillment, 3PL, you either have to be small, niche, very expensive, or you have to be Amazon and have billions of dollars worth of automation and equipment and be affordable. So we were in the messy middle. We were like a $4, $5, $6 million top line company, not enough to buy automation equipment, but too big to really not niche enough to charge a bunch of money. You've got to be in the right industry too. We were in food. Send Eats, first of all, it's just a terrible category because there's not a lot of food shipped online, period. People think there is, there's not. Okay, we would take these customers that were big household name brands. Their online orders were a fraction of a percent of their in-store sales. And so it's not a big category and it's not a high margin category as opposed to like supplements that are small, they're shippable. Most of them are shelf stable and they have 80 to 90% gross margins. So if we would have been a supplement 3PL, we could have been a lot more expensive because the margins are there on our customer side to justify those fees. But we weren't. We were in the messy middle. And so what we had to do was get really creative in our hiring. We were competing with Amazon's 23 fulfillment centers in DFW, and they pay $17 or $18 an hour. And we paid $12 to $13 to $14 an hour. How do you compete with that? We had culture. We let them listen to podcasts on their AirPods. And that sounds like not a luxury at all, but in that space, it is. We let them play music over the loudspeakers for everyone to hear. We let them choose their music. We played games with them. We gave them free lunch every week. These things that seem so basic to most corporations were not at all at this wage level in this industry. So these small things that we did had a 10-to-1 ratio of cost to value, right? If you were to say, what if you were to have a perk to your employees where, hey, if you get to work here, we'll give you an extra $50 a month. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Wow. Thank you so much. That's nothing. That's no value. But if you were to say, hey, for everyone that works here, we'll pay for all of your subscriptions, Hulu, all of your media subscriptions, Hulu, YouTube, Premium, and Netflix. So, that's cool. That might only cost us $50, but the value of that is much, much more than $50. So we were forced to think of creative ways to offer value to our employees that, to offer perks to our employees that were much more valuable than the actual cost of them. So if you are in a business with small margins and you're a jerk, or it's not a great place to work, or the manager is a jerk, you're not going to make it. You got to have a cool culture. You got to have some cool perks, at least cool for the industry, and you got to get creative. Another thing I would say is if you can't hire a rockstar employee, then you have to build rockstar employees. You have to be the one to take someone that shows promise, but that is still affordable to you, and mold them into what becomes a rockstar employee. That's something that I've had to do over and over, not even because I'm in low margin industries, but because a lot of times I'm just like, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around paying people so much money. And so instead of paying someone that's been in the industry for 10 years and is worth 180 grand, I'll pay someone brand new that looks like they'll be worth 180 or 280 grand in a few years, pay them market rate, and try to get them to that point. It takes more work, it takes more headache. They're going to be rough around the edges. You're going to be frustrated a lot of the time, but beggars can't be choosers, right? This is the industry you chose. If it's not a high margin industry, then yeah, you got to offer these little perks. It's got to be a fun place to work, or you have to build them into rockstar employees.
You might not know this, but this is not my full channel. If you want to watch the full episode of the segment that you just saw, go ahead and check this out or the link in the description.